Thanks for joining us again at the Azure Academy. You have been asking for it, and we are doing it. DevOps, right now.
I'm Dean Safola, and this is the Azure Academy.
If you want to master the Azure cloud, you can start right now by clicking the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
So I am super excited about this DevOps series, but I got to get two things out of the way first. Number one is my perspective. Most material out there about DevOps is from a developer's perspective, not an ops person. I'm ops. The second thing that I want you to keep in mind is that you should be an active participant in this series. We're going to set up our environment today and get ready for the rest of this series, and you should build your environment as well. So maybe you want to watch this video all the way through so you know what's going on, and then watch it again, go back and actually download things and build your environment like I'm doing it. So with that, let's take a quick minute and think about why we need DevOps as operations. Hey, is it my turn? Benny, I'm still doing the intro. Come on! My grandma's script could have been done by now. Yeah, I know, but you have to be patient. Everyone's not at your level. Yeah, but I got customers who are waiting for updates. Let's go already. Hey, remember what we talked about? Okay, we're here to help everybody out so we can get more done and do more together. Remember, teamwork? Fine. Just hurry up. I got a code review in 10 minutes. We will. We're doing our best here. Thanks, Danny. Sorry about that. Really is a great guy. He's just got a lot going on. So, where was I? DevOps. DevOps is a mindset and a tool set. Mindset first, though, because you have to change how you think. This is not just about tools like, Azure DevOps and GitHub. This is about a philosophy of IT. So let's set the stage here. So we have our dev, and our devs love change. They love making new products and features and bug fixes and updates and rolling out all that code. And then we have our ops guys. And the ops guys hate change because we know change is the enemy. Things break, it's because something changed. We have to take care of all of the infrastructure, old and new, patching, maintenance, backups, all of that stuff. And so a ops person likes a very stable environment, but a dev always wants to introduce change. Now, what do we have going for us in common? Tools. That starts out at the bottom with things like Bash and PowerShell. Then you work your way up to some code management tools or automation tools like Azure Automation that we've talked about before, and infrastructure as code. And that's what we're going to spend the majority of our time talking about since this is focused on the cloud. And then at the very top, we have GitHub and Azure DevOps, which help to manage all of that code and the life cycle of that code through the process. So, common scenario that I'm sure everybody is familiar with on the ops side is we have our devs behind the ethereal wall, and they throw the code over the wall, and we ops people have to catch that code, put it in there, and then we have problems, which results in the blame game. You people, and you didn't do right, and your environment isn't like it should be, and it doesn't match production, and then the devs have similar complaints. You guys didn't do it right, or you don't have the right tool set, or, all this useless stuff. So let's go back to our scenario of our dev and our ops person. The way that we can come together in DevOps, and this is the key, automate everything. Our code testing and code promotion should be automated on the dev side, and on the ops side, we want to have infrastructure as code, management as code, which then gives us collectively identical environments, identical configurations, and most importantly, identical strategies to approaching IT and rolling out products and updates, etc. So that's the whole key of DevOps, working together based on a similar tool set with similar priorities. That then means that our customer or our management of our company are both very happy because we can all do more together. And this eliminates things like shadow ops and where the devs are trying to do operations things, which means they're not spending more time writing code. So it makes it better on all sides.
All right, so here we go. we've got a VM that's set up in Azure, and we're going to RDP into that VM, and we are going to set up VS Code, which you may not be familiar with, but this is the tool for making all of your infrastructure as code. So we're going to go and download that from the VS Code website. And then once we get that downloaded, we're gonna do the standard installation, which is just gonna come up with this dialog box that's up here. You just wanna hit okay. That means we're gonna set it up for all users who log on the machine, no problem. And we're just gonna do the default installation with the clickety click because you guys don't do the keyboard that well yet. We're gonna fix that. So we're gonna do the regular install and then, ooh, look, see how fast that was? That's already done. It's great, right? I love VS Code. And then we're gonna run it for the first time and it shows up in glorious dark mode. Let me give you a little bit of navigation, and that's gonna start up top with the file and folders section. This is where you can have your organizing your structure, your files, and you can create all your folders, and you can make all that right here and create your own little workspace, and that's all good. Next to that is search, and there's also find and replace, which we'll get to using. And then there's Git, which is your source control. That's my favorite area. We'll get into that later. And then there's debugging, which is great, but you won't need too much of that right now. And then there's extensions. And this is where the real cool stuff is, because in extensions, this is where we can add other stuff like your browser extensions, that all kind of thing, makes it do all kinds of stuff. And here, if we search for ARM, you will find that there are a whole bunch of extensions for ARM and for Azure, and you want to get the Azure Resource Manager ARM tools. This is going to add color coding, it's going to add IntelliSense, it's going to add an actual language of ARM into VS Code so it knows exactly what we're typing and can help us get the job done. So you're going to want that for sure. And then there's also PowerShell, because in PowerShell, this is how we're going to deploy all those ARM templates. You're definitely going to want that. Okay, so now that we've got it all installed, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna set up PowerShell in VS Code. So first we're gonna find our module, and this is the AZ PowerShell modules, and that's so that you can talk to Azure and do everything you have to do. So we're gonna run find-module space -name AZ, and then we're gonna pipe that over to install module, and then we're going to throw in some other switches there so it just happens even if you have it already. That way you get all the latest. Just run that. That'll take just a couple minutes. Wait, what's going on? Hey, why is it going dark? All right, wow, that was weird. I guess we're done. Okay, cool. So let's move on. All right, so we're going to type in CLS and we're going to clear the screen and now type get-module. And notice there are no PowerShell modules for Azure. But that's okay because this will load as we need them. But just so you can see what it looks like and everything we just did, I'm gonna do import-module and give it the AZ, and then that'll import everything, which will take a couple minutes, so don't worry about that. I'm just showing you this here. And then you go in and look at all them. There's all the modules now. That's all you got from that one command. See, that's cool. That's automation. You didn't have to download all them by yourself. It's great. All right, so let's clear the screen again, and now let's go back to business. So the next thing we have to do to talk to Azure is we have to connect. So that's going to be connect-AZ account, and then you just hit enter. There's other ways to do this and automate it, but we'll get into that later. Now, so what happens sometimes in VS Code is the authentication window shows up in the background. So I'm gonna Alt-Tab here, there it is, and we'll just sign in now. So don't peek at my password. All right, and in just a minute, we'll be all authenticated and logged in, and there you go. All right, we're ready to rock. So first thing I like to do, just to make sure everything's working, I'm in the right subscription and everything else, is I like to do get-AZ resource group. And that's gonna show me just a list of all my resource groups so I know I'm in the right place. Now we're ready to start talking about ARM templates. Now, why ARM templates? This is important. This is infrastructure as code. Now, don't be scared because this is written in JSON, JSON. This is the stuff you need to really kick the cloud into high gear. All right, so we'll take it real slow and then we'll break up the rest of this all into little small bite-sized videos so that you operations people can keep up. All right, okay. So here we go. Woo, okay. So let's open up our very first ARM template here. Now notice that opens over on the side and then we can just close the terminal right up there. And all right, so now we got it all here. Now you got the template. So let's talk about the format of the template. so you can get your way around and you know what's going on and all that. So over here on the left, we have the File Explorer window. We're going to shrink that down. And now we have the ARM template outline. This gives us all of that framework for what's going on here in the template. And we have at the very top, we have the schema. Now the schema tells ARM and all of that what all is in here and what are all the possibilities and the APIs and everything else that we can do and all the settings and all that good stuff. So don't worry too much about that. But if VS Code asks you to update the schema, the answer should be yes. All right, because they're all backwards compatible. So you definitely want that. That way you get all the latest and greatest features, okay? Then we have the content version. Content version has to do with versioning your code. You want to track it and know what changes go into what version. This is one of those DevOps practices that we do very well. You guys need to pick up on. And that way we always know that if a version happened, then we can go back to that version, see who happened, when it happened, and get all that good information, okay? Then after that, we have the parameters. Now you're familiar with this from PowerShell, right? The parameters are those inputs. They're the things that I want to do. So I could have an input for like storage account name. And then when I build the template, this time I'll give it one name. And when I build it the next time, I can give it another name and get another storage account without having to change my code at all. That is a parameter. The next section is variables. Now variables are a little bit tricky, okay? This is kind of like variables in PowerShell, same kind of idea. And this is where I can say something like, look here, I want to have a unique ID and then put some value behind it, just like you would do $unique ID in PowerShell, and then that equals something. Then we have our resources. Now this is the thing that you're familiar with. This is the thing I'm going to build using this infrastructure, and I'm declaring it all as code. In this case, it's a storage account. Now resources have different values that are some required and some are optional, and other ones that are properties of those parameters. So the one that's always going to be there, no matter what, is going to be the type, the name, the API. Those are always going to be there, and most of the time you'll have location. That's a very important one. But some of the other ones that are here, like tags, that's optional. It's always good. You should always have tags, but they're optional. And then you have kind, that relates to only storage accounts. And then there's SKU, which is storage account and a couple other things. And that will have properties of its own, like name and tier. And that'll be different based on the resource, and we'll cover more of that later. Then at the bottom here, we have outputs. Now outputs, just like in PowerShell, right? These are the things that we're gonna get after the whole thing is done. We built our storage account, that's our only resource. And then we're going to say the output of that is I want to know what is the name of the storage account that you built, because we built it using a unique string thanks to our variable. So I don't know what the name's going to be before it's built. All right, so I want to know that information. So that's going to be my output. All right, now that's the structure. Let's do a quick deployment and then we'll wrap it up and we'll get back the other guy. So to do a deployment, we're going to go up to the top to a terminal and go to a new terminal. That'll open that PowerShell again. Then you can click this little cute arrow there and that'll full screen a thing, and that'll make it all convenient to do all the typey. So let me just type out the command here real quick. Okay, and there's our command, new AZ resource group deployment with the name of test, going to the ARM templates resource group with our ARM template file. When you hit enter, because we have a parameter and we have not included a parameters file, we have to input the name of the storage account. Let me just type that quick. All right, so now we hit enter. And that's it. We just wait, and it's gonna take our template file, bring it up into Azure, process it, build our account, give us our output. Have a nice day. Over to the Azure portal. Oh boy. Thanks, Denny. Okay, so here we are in the Azure portal. We're gonna go to our ARM template resource group, and in there we have our storage account. There's the name, matched what we saw in Visual Studio Code. And if we go to the top, to the deployments, we can see the deployment that was done, all of the inputs, outputs, etc., and the template. So you can click on the template, and there you go. That's exactly what we brought into the cloud. So this is just the beginning of our DevOps series, and we do have a lot of things that we want to cover. So we're going to keep the videos bite-sized, and we will have Denny come back
maybe.
Hey, all right. So it's been great. You know, I love meeting y'all, and it's going to be fun. We're going to help y'all become better devs.
Right, yeah, but you know, we're not trying to make ops people into devs. That's not what happens in DevOps, you know. We just want to use some of the same skills.
Well, no, man. I mean, you're working with code now. I mean, you're a dev. That's just the way it is. You know, get used to it.
Thanks for joining us here at the Azure Academy for our series on DevOps. You can give us some comments down below on things that you're interested in so that we can make this series as great for you as we can. And this is starting small, so we will build our way up to Azure DevOps and GitHub for managing everything across the cloud.
Yeah, and let me know if I'm coming on too strong or nothing, right? You know, I mean, I just want to have fun, and you know, it's like it's gonna be great. I mean, this is gonna be awesome.
And if you want to keep on
yeah,
learning,
so yeah, they keep on learning, right? I mean, we're gonna have more in this series, and it's gonna come faster. There're gonna be small videos to keep it interesting and help you to learn little bits, and yeah, you're gonna love it. Oh yeah, the other videos, right? So over there, that's like the latest one. So you want to go see that one, and then like the other one down there, you know, maybe that'll be like this series or something, or you know, maybe something like the Overlords, you know, back at YouTube Central. Maybe that's what they picked out. So you know, it'll be whatever that is, I guess. We'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for joining. You know, like and subscribe. You know, like and subscribe.